Central Africa is one of the least understood regions on the continent, yet it is full of powerful identities, strong cultural contrasts, and countries with very different reputations. Some are seen as rich but closed, others as beautiful but unstable, and others as forgotten despite enormous potential. So in this video, we are breaking down the common stereotypes and public image of 8 Central African countries and what those perceptions reveal about how the world sees them. Cameroon is often described as Africa in miniature because it seems to contain almost everything in one country. It has beaches, rainforests, mountains, savanna, and a mix of cultures, languages, and religions that make it feel incredibly diverse. The stereotype around Cameroon is balance, a country that blends Central and West African energy, French and English influence, and both urban ambition and traditional pride. At the same time, that diversity can also mean tension, especially when language, identity, and politics collide. Cameroon is often seen as talented, resilient, football-loving, and culturally rich, but also weighed down by deep internal divisions. The Central African Republic is often imagined as one of Africa's most forgotten countries, rich in natural resources, but constantly trapped in instability. The stereotype is heartbreaking. A land full of diamonds, gold, forests, and potential, yet repeatedly pulled back by conflict, poverty, and weak institutions. People often associate the country with survival, endurance, and communities forced to live through cycles of violence that the outside world barely notices. And yet beneath that image is a country with deep traditions, strong local identities, and people who keep going despite enormous hardship. It is often seen as a symbol of neglected potential. Chad is usually associated with toughness. It is a country people imagine as dry, harsh, and unbreakable, shaped by desert, conflict, and sheer endurance. The stereotype around Chad is resilience, people who survive in difficult conditions, with a national image built on discipline, military strength, and hard living. It is often viewed as one of the Sahel's most battle-tested states, where life can feel serious, demanding, and unforgiving. But Chad is more than struggle. It also carries cultural depth, historic kingdoms, and a mixture of Arab and African influences that give it a distinct identity few outsiders fully understand. The Republic of the Congo is often overshadowed by its much larger neighbor, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but it has its own identity and presence. The stereotype is quieter elegance, oil wealth, dense rainforest, river cities, and a country that seems calmer on the surface than many of its neighbors. It is often seen as politically controlled, resource-rich, and heavily tied to state power, but also marked by beauty, music, and strong urban culture in places like Brazzaville. For many outsiders, the country feels low profile, but inside the region, it is known for style, rhythm, and a distinct francophone identity. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is often seen as one of the most powerful contradictions on Earth. It is enormous, resource-rich, culturally influential, and full of energy, yet constantly associated with war, corruption, and instability. The stereotype is almost overwhelming. Endless minerals, endless potential, and endless crisis. People think of the DRC as a giant that should be unstoppable, but somehow remains weighed down by exploitation from both within and outside its borders. At the same time, Congolese culture is legendary, from music and fashion to creativity and confidence. The country is often imagined as chaotic, vibrant, wounded, and impossible to ignore. Equatorial Guinea is often associated with wealth on paper and inequality in reality. Because of oil, it has long carried the image of a small country with big money, but also a political system known more for control than openness. The stereotype is secrecy, a state that appears rich, yet feels closed, tense, and inaccessible to many outsiders. It is often viewed as one of Africa's most tightly managed countries, where power is concentrated and public life is carefully controlled. But beyond politics, Equatorial Guinea also has a unique identity, shaped by both Spanish influence and Central African roots, which makes it stand out on the continent. Gabon is often seen as one of Central Africa's more polished and stable countries. The stereotype is green wealth, oil, forests, wildlife, and a country that feels less chaotic than many others in the region. Gabon is often associated with relative calm, urban modernity, and a small population living in a land with huge natural resources. But that image also comes with criticism. Many people connect Gabon with elite politics, uneven wealth, and a system where prosperity has not always reached everyone equally. Still, the country is often viewed as refined, environmentally important, and quietly significant in Central Africa. São Tomé and Príncipe is often imagined as a hidden paradise. Small, tropical, peaceful, and surrounded by the Atlantic, it carries the image of a beautiful country that many people have never heard of. The stereotype here is simplicity and calm, a place far removed from the noise and pressure of larger African states. It is often associated with cocoa, lush landscapes, and a slow pace of life that feels almost untouched. But that peaceful image also hides real economic challenges, limited opportunities, and the difficulties that come with being small and isolated. Even so, São Tomé and Príncipe is often seen as charming, gentle, and uniquely serene.